What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be discussing not just World Cup qualifying and the matches that are coming up, but also just the general headlines of these teams now entering into this round robin tournament and who's going to make it out, who's able to take advantage of this past summer of the Gold Cup and the previous round of World Cup qualifying, and now coming to here knowing that these are must-win games. Every game is a must-win. You have to get out, and you pretty much just have to the end of 2025. And then you go straight into Interconfederation play. So, yeah, there's a lot of things to cover and a lot of headlines to talk about. I'll hit it off to you, Will, first. What is the first headline that you're looking at coming into this World Cup qualifying?
A lot of headlines, dude. A lot of headlines. Like you alluded to earlier, Julian, these are the biggest games of our lives. This is, as Concacaf guys ourselves, as guys that have our team within this federation, these are, and I can speak from within Panamanian football history, this is undoubtedly the biggest games of our history. Nothing tops this. Not even the last World Cup, the one that we were at, not the Copa America, not the Gold Cup, none of this. This is everything we've been peaking for have been for these games. So yeah, it's an exciting time, dude. I'm excited. I'm hyped. I'm pumped up for it, but I'm also super nervous, man. I'm also extremely nervous, like all of us, dude, that have a dog in this fight. But first headline, dude, kind of going and talking about Panama. I want to talk about kind of the three-headed can't speak right now. I want to talk about the three-headed dragon that is Panama, Costa Rica, and Jamaica. Obviously, all Pot 1 teams that got separated into Group A, B, and C in this qualifier. Just really, the biggest headline that I see going into this is a golden opportunity. This is a golden ticket, where in past in past World Cups, obviously, unfortunately for Panama, it was tough because we have to end it off at playing at the United States, or in Jamaica's case, you just couldn't pull out those away results against a Mexico or a United States, and we've seen this happen before for other teams as well, also like in El Salvador, or Honduras and stuff like that. So I think it's interesting. And it's so unique, dude, to not have the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. It feels very different. It's very unique in that aspect. But like I said, this is a golden opportunity. This is a golden ticket. This is a chance, and quite literally, this is never going to happen again in this format where these guys aren't. I mean, maybe in like 100 years, I don't know if they're going to host again, or in 80 years or whatever, but this will not happen in our lifetime, Julian. So I think this is a massive opportunity for these teams. I think the pressure's on. I think pressure, dude, you want to talk about blood pressure, dog? I mean, these guys, they probably are going to the doctor week in, week out, and they're probably getting told your blood pressure's out of the roof, my boy, because it is a little bit stressful just to know the ramifications if one of these teams don't qualify. And I mean that for all three teams. It's the same status. Now, maybe Jamaica's a little bit, and I'll kind of get to my second headline later. That's maybe a team that's a little bit obviously on the downfall, but still, the group that they were given, Zero excuses. So, I said, it's a huge opportunity. I think, like I said, that would be my headline for this is the pressure. Is the pressure going to get to anybody? Is the pressure going to amount to players, the fans? What is it going to be like? But at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting to see these three teams kind of dealing with that in all their different ways.
So it's your first headline, man. What you got?
That's it right there, dude. The three-headed dragon. Yeah. Right there.
Okay.
Right there.
Just the expectations. So, okay, I got you.
Expectations.
I'm gonna knock it down into one team, and the team who probably out of this entire qualifying had the most overperforming run that they did in this past Gold Cup, and that is Guatemala. I think the real question is, can Guatemala get over that hump and be able to take down Panama? They weren't able to in the previous game, and can they ride this high? I think they should have enough quality to at least make it to an Interconfederation playoff and that second place bracket. But I think, to me, the biggest headline is Guatemala. Can they maintain that level? Can they get it done? Can they even raise it a little bit higher to push Panama to the brink and make it tough for them and potentially leapfrog them, or just put themselves in a situation where they can get a result, get a draw at home, and then hope for Panama to have a disastrous game somewhere else? I think it's up to Guatemala to step up and be right there neck and neck to be able to take advantage for potential drop offs that Panama could make. And to me, that's the biggest headline. In term for me, it is. So, what do you think of that one?
Uh, well, I can answer that question. No, it's not going to happen. Not, not, not in the sense of, of Guatemala accomplishing it. Obviously, if you guys love these videos, subscribe. Julian and me go on for quite some time talking about this. We're super excited. But yeah, I mean, to your headline, I could see. Obviously, Guatemala is a difficult team, and nothing to take away from. But Panama has to realize, and not only, and I will say this, dude, we can't play with history. Obviously, we have Guatemala's number. We've dominated them in the past years. We've dominated them in history. We've been to more World Cups than them, more everything in that aspect. But history doesn't play in these games. We've learned that. And if anybody's to say that, it's Panamanians. We have to learn that because we don't have that history. We don't have all these World Cups like a US, like a Costa Rica, or like a Mexico. So obviously, history is not to be like that. It's on the field. It's on that night. It's in that stadium. It's in that moment. Who's the better team? And then at the end of the day, it's Panama. It's undisputable. It's unquestionable, and it's unfathomable for me to even think about. Well, Guatemala can do it. They can. Not saying they couldn't, but it's not realistic. I don't see it happening. But like I said,
But do you believe the expectation for them is to be right there, to be second place, to make at least the Interconfederation rankings?
I would
think
say
a lot of their
yeah.
fans feel that way, and I would go as far as say I feel that way, that there should be an expectation for them to be competing, be right there for in case an opportunity is to arise, and to at least make that second place seed to get Interconfederation playoffs. Obviously, it's based on rankings. Not every second place team is going to make it. Only the top two second place teams are going to make it.
Correct. Yeah, Interconfederation, it's a battle between them and Suriname. I think El Salvador's kind of just, they're on a prayer right now. They're on a little island hoping for the best, hoping they can get some dual nats or something, dude. They're not looking good at all. But yeah, I think a second place, it's not out of the realm, I agree with you, dude. It's not an insane take to say that. But, I will say it's going to be tough. Like all 12 of these teams, dude, and this goes kind of to my second headline, if you're good if we move on, is
Yeah, go ahead.
obviously I talked a little bit about, like, kind of in that first one, the top dogs, the rest of the teams as well. The only outlier out of these 12 teams, Julian, and I will say that's realistically, they're just not there, dude. Shout out the boys out in the Bermuda Triangle, man. It's a little bit unrealistic for them, but they have a little bit of a favorable draw within their group. So maybe they can cause a little bit of chaos, maybe cause a little bit of harm to some teams. We'll see. But that's my second headline. What teams are going to be able to emerge? Obviously, you mentioned Guatemala. I look at a Suriname. I look at a Suriname team that they've got a lot of pieces. They've got a lot of shooters, dude. I don't forget about G. Kirk, man. That guy's a baller. That dude is an absolute baller playing over in Belgium. I'm not going to sleep on a team like Honduras, dude. I mean, they beat us this summer. You know what I mean? This is a team that's in your guys' group that can cause problems. This is also a Central America Classico. When it comes to Central America, this is the original Central America Classico between Costa Rica and Honduras, and I also look at teams like a Curacao and a Trinidad, and we've talked and we've alluded to about earlier, Trinidad's very good at home at Port of Spain. So, and to wrap up my second headline is what type of chaos, what type of problems, what type of issues are going to emerge from these teams, and what are they going to be able to do within this next round, or excuse me, this final round? What type of players are we going to see emerge? What are going to be the storylines, obviously, coming out of those games and whatnot. But it is going to be interesting because, dude, we've said that a million times. This is CONCACAF ball. It's like nowhere else in the world. You have fights. You have more fights than you actually have soccer games going on. You have more fans throwing trash than you have actual players on the field. You have all these different outside spontaneous events that are happening, and even on the field as well. It adds to the excitement. It adds to the drama. And sometimes, Julian, I'll keep it quite real with you. When I'm watching CONCACAF ball, I feel like I'm watching a telenovela, man. It's a soap opera, dude. Like, it's all these different things. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So I just really want to see what teams are going to cause chaos, what teams are going to cause problems for the bigger dogs, kind of the three that I alluded to earlier. So that would be my second storyline. What teams are going to be able to kind of create that Cinderella run?
My second one's going to be, and you kind of mentioned it earlier with your first one, is will Jamaica actually step up? Like you said, they were gifted an amazing group. They should get out of this group. But we also said that in the Gold Cup. We thought, okay, they were either clear second or potentially first in the Group C of the Gold Cup. But now we're getting into the Group B, and they got grouped in the Gold Cup. And now we're coming up to Jamaica's most important games of their history. Correct me if I'm wrong. It may not be their entire history. I don't know. I think they've made it to one World Cup. I think
just
they
one.
have.
Just one.
And that was a very long time ago. But with this generation and with the players that they have, this should be a breeze. But it's been nothing but a disaster for them. And I just hope that they don't continue to spiral. And that's the biggest fear for Jamaica, is that continuation of this spiral of going down. Because it feels like they've just gotten progressively worse over the past couple of years. I felt like they were able to peak to that Nations League semifinal that they had against the USA and pushed them to extra time. But ever since then, they didn't make it to the Nations League this past year. They looked bad in the Gold Cup. Outside of just like that, I think the one game against Mexico, they looked okay. And then getting grouped in the Gold Cup. It's just, is this spiral going to continue? What are we going to see? Now, they should take care of business, but this is also a Curacao team that pushed Canada to the brink. This is a Trinidad team that is consistently in World Cup qualifying, that a team that they're familiar with, and that Trinidad's familiar with them as well, and they have to go play away at. I think some people want to say it's a gift, but I don't necessarily know it's a slam dunk either. Because prior to the Gold Cup, I would have felt that way. But after seeing the performances Curaçao's put up against higher level opposition, that makes me a little bit worried. And then also, Trinidad is historically a force to be reckoned with during these qualifying when they've made it to the octagonal or the hexagonal. I don't know. I can't speak, but you know what I mean. So I just think this is, like you said, their golden ticket. They need to take advantage of it, and they have to. I think it is. If they don't make this, it is going to be one of the darkest moments in their history, because you'll never get given this easy of a path ever again. Like you said,
it would be catastrophic. I'm talking about hurricane levels 6, 7, tropical storm, thunder. It would be atrocious, like you said.
That's
dude.
Crazy. There's not even a category 6 or 7 in hurricane, so you're talking
There's
about
not.
even like
there's not, dude. And as Florida residents ourselves, yeah, I mean, dude, we're talking about seeing something that we've never seen in humanity. Yeah, I agree, dude. Just I'll add real quick before we continue with Jamaica, and I was thinking about it kind of while you were alluding it, while you were talking, Julian, and you made a good point. They have to take care of business, obviously at home, but I thought about it away. If Jamaica loses both to Curacao and to Trinidad, now I want to make it clear, they have a little bit of wiggle room to maybe get a draw at Port of Spain, win at Curacao, or at Williamstad. And then obviously they have to beat Bermuda. That's inexcusable. They have to win at Bermuda, unquestionable. But if they lose both at Curacao and at Trinidad, Jamaica could be kissing the World Cup goodbye very easily. Now, they might have that Intercontinental playoff run, but Julian, you and I, we've already looked at it quite often. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I'm being quite real. I don't know if any Concacaf team will.
I don't think any. I think only one maybe because they're used to these moments would be Honduras, or if if either Costa Rica or Panama have a disastrous Gold Cup run and they end up, that's the only shot.
That's what I was going to say, because you got to look at it. Venezuela is going to go, more than likely. That's a tough team, and you're going to play them in Mexico as well. They've already announced FIFA. That's where the Intercontinental is going to take place. Yeah, you're cooked. That's done. Obviously, I know maybe like a DR Congo or a Senegal has been kind of
not scary to me, to be honest with you. Like I'm not super scared of them.
They don't
like for any team. Like even if it's like a Honduras versus Venezuela, that's not like. I don't know if it's a slam dunk for Venezuela.
It's not a slam dunk, but that's a favorable matchup. I think Venezuela would. I think they're licking their chops, dude. If they look at Honduras as on the cooking board for them, they're going to be like,
yeah,
okay,
I'm sure they feel that way, but I don't know if they think as good as they think they are. I don't like.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. But still, regardless, Venezuela's a tough team. DR Congo's a team that could go there. Saudi Arabia or potentially Qatar or a UAE. I mean, these are the types of teams that they're going to have to get past, to make it to a World Cup. It's not easy. It's not going to be easy at all. I agree with you, dude. But for Jamaica's sake, don't let it get to that. Don't. That should not even be a consideration. Well, if we make no, it's the same thing with Panama and Costa Rica. Same thing I've already said multiple times with my boys. There's no need of well, if we, something. No, first place, handle it, handle your business.
I don't know if you have a third one, but I did kind of want to, because now that we're talking about it, I think you kind of answered it a little bit. I was going to say, is there any possibility that any of these CONCACAF teams, if they were, whoever makes it to the Intercontinental playoff, could actually make it through? And I feel like you kind of answered that question, that it feels like the only two that could potentially do it would be Costa Rica and Panama, but you have no faith in anybody else. Like, do you think if Jamaica was to have a disastrous run and whatever, you don't think Jamaica has enough quality to get out?
I mean, the thing is,
how many teams would advance? How would the Intercontinental playoff confederation work?
So the format for that is it's the top two teams, and it's basically off of FIFA rankings, where it's more than likely it's going to be Venezuela and probably the African team. So they're going to match up in two different brackets, right? They're going to be ahead of the bracket. And then the other four, so New Caledonia has already been confirmed from Oceania, one Asian team, two CONCACAF teams, and then, that's it. So you have, obviously, your one African, your one Asian, your two CONCACAF, your Oceanic, and then your CONMEBOL team. And like I said, Venezuela, and let's just say for the sake of the argument, DR Congo, which is a team, or a Senegal, right, that could take that second place, or even a Gabon. Shout out Adam on that shout. But those are teams that could more than likely be in that game. So they're going to be placed as your number one. The other two CONCACAF teams, the Asian and the Oceanic, are going to be separated between those two. They'll play, the winners obviously advance, and then they'll play Venezuela and DR Congo, we'll say for right now. So to answer your question just real quick, Julian, I don't see, obviously, outside of a Panama or Costa Rica to be able to do it, but not even thinking that they'll be there, either one of them. I don't see Trinidad. God, no, not Trinidad. I don't see Curacao. Curaçao's just not. I'll be quite frank, dude. I think any of the teams from second place get that, or from Group B, like a Curacao or Trinidad, I think they're just gonna be kind of thankful to be there. I think they're gonna hope to just get to that last qualifying game, and then it's gonna be a prayer for them. I agree with you, Honduras, and I'll throw Guatemala in there as well. They're going to bring fans.
I think Honduras having to play in Mexico is a huge plus for them.
Huge.
Like, that would be a massive plus.
And Guatemala, that's even huger.
Yeah, them too.
Like, humongous. So in that aspect, I think I will say, if either one of those, because think about it, two teams are going from CONCACAF, not just one. It's two of the second places. So it easily could be Guatemala and Honduras, or it could obviously be like a Suriname,
that
and
would be
Honduras.
my pick.
Yeah, if you had to go betting odds, I would go Honduras and Guatemala right now. Dude, whichever one of those teams can avoid Venezuela, I think can go to the World Cup. If they take on like a DR Congo or a Gabon, if they play Senegal, they're cooked. That's a wrap. That ain't gonna happen.
Senegal, they would get torched. Senegal would be easily the best team in there.
Yeah, but like I said, dude, it all depends on who Africa sends, and it depends on who Asia sends. If Asia sends, dude, let's be real. If Saudi Arabia get in there, Saudi Arabia is going. They're not missing the World Cup. Like, with all the money, with all the guys, I don't see them missing.
I don't know. Saudi Arabia is really down right now. I'm not like, I wouldn't be super high on them getting out either. It'd be really interesting. Honestly, the Intercontinental playoff it's going to be, I think, pretty fairly balanced for the most part. I think all of them should be, like you said, unless Africa sends Senegal, that would be the only team where you'll be like, oh, it's clear. But if they don't, if it is a DR Congo or if it is a Gabon, then I'm like, man, I feel like I don't know who makes it out. Like, because I see your Venezuela shout, but I'm not super high on Venezuela either. Like, I'm not like necessarily thinking they're a slam dunk. I don't know. Like you said, playing in Mexico, maybe. I mean, like, we've seen like Mexico and USA struggle against Honduras. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
I
don't know. But I am curious though, just to stay on this a little bit, say hypothetically, disaster does happen, and it is Costa Rica and Panama.
Oh my God.
What do you think those two teams' odds are making? Like, we'll start off with you, Panama. Like, do you think they could get out?
If that were the case, Julian, and we go to the Intercontinental playoff, I'm picking up my phone.
You're shitting yourself.
This is after I get done shitting myself. I'm getting all the toilet paper I can because there's poop all over me. I'm wiping everything down. No, for real, dude, for real though.
Because that gets really interesting.
It does. I'm gonna be honest. It's weird because maybe a couple weeks before the game, maybe even a month or two, Panamanians are locking in. We're focused. The team's going absolutely. I'm talking about this is Navy SEAL Team 6 type beat. Like nobody's thinking about anything else. I'm not eating food. I'm not working. I'm not getting out of bed. I'm just thinking about this game, and I think the whole team would be like that. It would be disappointing though. I think the nature getting in there, obviously we would still have the opportunity, but it would be like, holy cow. Now we kind of got to go through a gauntlet, guys. I think we would look at it as a complete wasted opportunity and almost like borderline fraudulent. Not the fact that we couldn't do it in the first round. So yeah, I think it would be tough. I think we could. Never going to lose faith in the boys. Never going to lose hope. But yeah, it'd be interesting. What about you though? How do you feel if CR went?
I'd be worried.
Yeah,
they've been there before and they've made it out. Obviously, previous World Cup they were there. It's a different team, and that's the one thing that worries me is that this is a different team. I feel though they have the quality and the capability to get out. It's not going to be easy, but I feel like if they were to make it, we would be a top 3 team in that tournament. And you have to be able to eclipse and the same thing would go for Panama. If Panama was in it, I think they would be a top 3 team.
Yeah.
Because I think Panama and Costa Rica are better than Saudi Arabia, personally.
Oh, by far.
The thing is that the Africa one is a tough one because that's like if they send Senegal, like God, that's going to be hard. But
I will say
if they don't, I feel fairly confident that Costa Rica could get out. I would be worried, but I would feel good that they could. I would feel pretty good about my odds. Venezuela, I like our chances there. I don't think Venezuela scares me. I just look at what this team did in Copa America, and I like what I saw and those were higher level teams. So that's the only thing I can kind of go based off of.
If Panama,
I would say like even in the Gold Cup, like that Mexico team is probably be better than anybody in the Intercontinental playoffs, and we drew 0-0 with them. So
if Panama had to play Venezuela and Mexico in that one-off game. Oh, my bad. That's what I was going to say also real quick. The good thing for Panama and Costa Rica FIFA rankings, we'd probably only have to play one game if we were there. Like I said, I don't want to think in that aspect, but that would help out a little bit. But real quick, I'll finish it with that one, dude, with Panama. Actually, yeah, you know what? I'll get to my last point real quick. Last little quick headline. Kind of a little motivation thing. Panamanians, canaleros, mi gente, mi país. First and foremost, te quiero mucho, te amo. Let's get up, guys. This is huge. Julian alluded to it. All of that stuff was hypothetical. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think, well,
most
how
likely
can we do?
That's not going to happen. I thought it'd be fun conversation. Like if Panama and Costa Rica were hypothetically in there, what are their odds?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting conversation for sure. It's not a fun one. It's not something that I'm like, oh, dude, I love that, But guys,
I want a challenge.
Yeah. I want to make it interesting for me. Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. But like, it's very, very. I can't stress enough, Julian. And I will say just a little personal journey on mine with Panamanian football. I've always grown up watching. For me, the first ever game that I watched was Paton Phillips versus Vasco Aguirre. When Vasco threw his leg out and pushed him, Paton Phillips got a red card. This was back at the 2009 Gold Cup. Dude, I was like 6 years old, 5. I was young. I was like something like that. You know what I mean? We were in Panama. Like I said, we were in Panama. I was with my family, dude, my grandma, my granddad, everybody was there watching the game. And I found a love. I found an absolute love, not only for this team, but like I said, and a lot of you guys watching the show, you know, Julie and I have talked about it, a little bit of our histories and our races and whatnot, but I'm half Panamanian and I'm more than proud to be. I love my country. I love the people. I love the environment. I love the food. I love everything about it, you know, and I love this national team even more. So these games, since that last World Cup that we didn't qualify, specifically for Panama, I looked at it as an opportunity for after those qualifiers to say, we had 4 Gold Cups, or excuse me, 4 Nations League, 22, 23, 24, and this past one, the 2025 edition. We had 2 Gold Cups, 2023, 2025. We had a Copa America last summer, 2024, and we've had multiple different friendlies, multiple different qualifier games.
There was a gap in that Nations League, wasn't there? I'm pretty sure there was a gap.
I think there was like a COVID gap or something, but still, regardless, tournaments every year, every summer, games, competitions, you know, bettering, figuring yourself out, you know, and Panama, not only for me, I've been beyond impressed, beyond successful. We're ranked 30th right now in the Concacaf, or excuse me, in the FIFA rankings, 30th. It's beautiful to see. I'm enjoying the moment of not only trying to soak it in and say, wow, this is some of the best. No, the highest that we have, this is the second highest. The highest we've been was 24th back in 2014, which that was a stacked team as well at that time. But regardless, these are some of the best times we've ever experienced as fans. It's incredible. Let's get to the World Cup. Let's get to the World Cup. This is everything we've been doing. Everything we've been preparing is for these games. Like I said, I'm excited. I've got a lot of friends going to some of these games, obviously in Romel. Lord willing, I can maybe potentially go. Obviously, I'm still looking at logistics. It's going to be kind of hard, but I love it, dude. I'm going to support regardless. But Panamanians, to the national team, you're probably not listening to me right now. You probably don't even care what I'm having to say, but
or even understand you.
Maybe, probably not. but I'm proud of you guys, all the work you've done. Every single one of you guys. You're not only my hero, but you're the nation's hero. Get out there, make us proud. Do the job, get the job done, and let's celebrate. Let's go to a World Cup. So, Julian, I don't know if you got anything, final thoughts?
Nah, man. I think it's going to be exciting. I'm interested to see. And yeah, in terms of my team, do what you're supposed to do. That's all I got to say. Do what you're supposed to do. I don't need a rally cry. You guys just need to do what the fuck you're supposed to, what you're expected to do. Like, that's all I got to say. Do what you're expected to do, because you need to go into 2030, because 2030 is your year. And you got at least the one step getting there is getting to your first one. So you can take the second one at your prime. So yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the episode. I want to thank you guys if you made it to the end of this video. We greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. Please make sure to like and subscribe to see more Concacaf content just like this. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.